we're on the struggle bus to get momentum on Amazon unless you pushed outside traffic to it. And I actually talked to some Amazon reps about that at Vegas, and some other people talked to them at other conferences. More or less, it was confirmed that until they see outside traction on a book, especially for a new account, there's like a wait before that book is kind of put into the main circulation and like promoted into Amazon systems. And I think that that was just a reaction to the number of low content books that kind of got pushed. So
Hey, it's Joe Solari, and it's Business of Writing, and we're here again with Elizabeth Ann West, and we're going to talk about. Say hi, Elizabeth, so the camera switches.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I've missed you so much.
Yep. And we thought it'd be good for us to just talk for a little bit of time about an inevitability that's around what's going to happen. And it's not specific to AI. It's just in this industry, when there is some type of momentum, there's always going to be some bad actors, and there's going to be people that misuse stuff. And we're not here to teach you how to misuse it. We're here to talk about how you can take that time to do the right thing. So when that wave passes, you've survived it, and more than survived it, you're thriving. Mm-hmm. Even if you are using AI, right? Like one choice may be like, I'm going to be a purist. I will not have anything to do with it. God bless, go do that. But there are going to be people that will want to use it. And yes, you're not going to want to get thrown in that same bucket with the guys that are scammy and saying, I can already see the Facebook ad in my feed about how I'll teach you to make $1 million writing books with AI.
Oh yeah, they're already out there. How to do a children's book in 15 minutes, how to do a short story in 10. I mean, and I watched them just because I was like, okay, let me see. I'm skeptical. And it's not showing anything of quality. It's not anything that's going to sustain.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, this isn't new. Like we had the whole, no. I can point at several, even pretty big YouTube channels are like, hey, you can make money in KDP with low content books. No, you can't.
No, you can't. At least not for very long, or not long. And that's the thing. I've been around since 2011. I could tell you the number of, I don't want to say scams, but like the number of heavily shortcutted methodologies that were promoted, and we were told we all had to do it. And eventually it catches up to people because readers don't like it. Amazon built algorithms to kind of sniff it out, or their systems are already designed to like push against it. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting because over the summer, a group of us started to realize that new pen names were having we're on the struggle bus to get momentum on Amazon unless you pushed outside traffic to it. And I actually talked to some Amazon reps about that at Vegas, and some other people talked to them at other conferences. More or less, it was confirmed that until they see outside traction on a book, especially for a new account, there's like a wait before that book is kind of put into the main circulation and like promoted into Amazon systems. And I think that that was just a reaction to the number of low content books that kind of got pushed. So Amazon always adjusts to whatever it is that people are saying is the get rich quick scheme of the month.
Yeah, I don't think this is more on the fulfillment side on Amazon, but there was a almost tripling of the number of trademarks that were applied for in the United States. And they're really weird trademarks. They're not the kind of trademarks that you and I would come up with that would be like, this is my brand. Right. Some of them are almost arbitrary. And the reason that happened is because people that are doing fulfillment of stuff out of China know that if you get a trademark and you apply for that trademark use on Amazon, you get special benefits and protection. Right. So it had nothing to do with like, I actually have a real brand that needs to be protected. It was one of these convoluted get rich quick scammy things that people are doing. And you can actually see the data in the trademark office. It's like they're getting swamped of all these overseas trademarks being applied for.
And there's been some talk about like some authors have had trouble with like other authors claiming trademark against their books, and then the books get taken down because Amazon errs on the side of the person reporting. But I even think that's going to change over soon, because eventually Amazon's going to be like, until you send us a court order, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah. And, I've been talking about this for a while. I mean, Amazon is a different company than it was a few years ago. It's got a different
Yes.
CEO.
Mm-hmm.
He came out of the AWS part of the business that is really struggling right now. Their advertising division made more money than AWS did last quarter, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of people at Amazon that are worried about losing their jobs. They're not in the advertising department, they're everywhere else. But they're very, very focused on dealing with counterfeits, brand risk management, um, and product liability that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are saying, "Oh, Amazon did this to me," it's like those robots are going to be set, you know, in a way that people are going to get caught in those
Yes.
filters.
I call it a
And
dolphin caught in a tuna net.
yeah, it's what it and that's what it's that's a really good analogy because
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to empty out oceans of bathwater and they're going to
Of
throw a
tuna.
lot of babies out.
They're trying to get all the tuna, but if the
Yeah,
dolphin's swimming around, when the net catches the dolphin and all this other wildlife is in the tuna net, even though
yeah,
they did not want to catch those, they just wanted the
yeah,
tuna.
yeah. And so that's a reality. So
Mm-hmm.
I think if we could just kind of think about like what's your vision of how that wave comes and what might happen and how you know for your sake because you're somebody that's going to be using AI, what you would do to make sure that you don't get caught in that tuna net.
So one of the first things I did was I actually came out to my readers about using AI on my last three books, in my reader group and also publicly. And I decided to do that after I had done three books so that I could, number one, show them a product that they already knew I had worked with AI, that they were happy with that book. So they were like, oh, this is a good thing. The reason I did that is because I think that it's kind of like sunlight is the best cure for the
Yeah,
darkness kind
best
of thing.
disinfectant.
Best disinfectant,
Yeah,
exactly. So if my readers already know, if some author tries to out me as like an AI scammer or something like that, my readers are going to be like, nah. And sometimes with Amazon, your best protection is having a real army of readers who read your books, who buy your books, who buy other things on Amazon that differentiates you from a scammer because you are a real entity that is a business partner with Amazon.
mm,
So that if books get taken down, emails and stuff can be written to Amazon. They can confirm it against accounts. It doesn't always work, but that's how a lot of the people who have been that dolphin caught in the tuna net, it has made a difference.
yeah. Well, and I know just in the last year of some people like really significant amount of sales
Mm-hmm.
and gotten caught in other types of filters and had their accounts closed. And it's scary and it's cost them a lot of money and hurt their business. But it's like you're on their platform, you just go and you have to get yourself put back on and go through
Yep.
the process.
And
And
they got their accounts back once they were able to get to a human on Amazon and lay it out. Hey, I'm a dolphin. I'm not a tuna. I know it looks
yeah,
like a tuna, but I'm just a dolphin.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And there's no big conspiracy. It's
No,
not Jeff throwing darts at a board to see who should get kicked off.
no, it's Amazon having algorithms and robots to do
Yeah,
that first level, and so it can sometimes take a little bit of squeakiness to get to a human.
yeah. I've heard some of the things they're dealing with as far as like product liability
Yeah.
and it's scary. I mean, we forget that they're managing trillions of transactions a year,
Yep.
billions of dollars of commerce, and they are the place where people find it the most easy to connect with consumers. And if you're a scumbag, do scummy things.
Yeah, and then the other protection too is that AI. I know Kindle Unlimited has been bread and butter for most indie authors for a long time. But I think that that might also be a new future thing that I've noticed some people are seeing diminishing returns in Kindle Unlimited. I'm not 100% sure that that's a program that Amazon's going to sustain, how much longer they're going to sustain it at the level that they are. And if you're able to use AI to make more content and things like that, it's time to find readers on other platforms
Mm,
because they're there. We were originally Kindle centric because that was the big device. Nobody's reading on a Kindle anymore. Everybody's reading on their phones or their iPads or something like that. So I think that AI is also going to help with diversification in terms of finding audiences out there.
yeah, I've been talking about it for a while. I think that you have to understand that while it's a large audience, it's just one segment
Yep.
of readers. And if your whole business is built on that, and I've got clients that 70% of their sales come from it, and they're making lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
It's you just have to accept the fact you have a fragile business that's dangerous.
Or you could support it with other formats because Kindle Unlimited only cares about the ebook. So you could have AI audiobooks now on Google and Apple. You can do, and I think Audible's going to come. I think they're gonna have to because they're just going to get outclassed. And the AI narration is getting better like every single week.
Mm-hmm.
Also, your paperbacks, your hardbacks, your special editions. Now with AI art, you could actually create an illustrated version of your books with public domain art that's artificially generated based on your prompts from your stories. And now you have this special edition hardback that you can reach readers and things like that.
Mm. So, kind of back to our premise on this one. I know you're not concerned, but why is it that you're not concerned when this wave comes?
I think because I've been in business with these vendors for over a decade now, I trust them to know their business. And part of them
Mm-hmm.
knowing their business is protecting the ecosystem from the bad products. So my job is only not to have bad product. My job is
Mm-hmm.
to avoid looking like a tuna at all costs. And that is sorry about that. And that is, you know, it's not difficult to do if that's your mindset. And that's things like, you know, not flooding the market with shoddily written books. I do not put anything out that's AI that I collaborate with AI that I didn't validate every single word and make sure it's exactly what I wanted to publish. Do I have
Mm.
the capability of like doing a whole bunch of like crappy short stories? Sure, we always do. We had that capability before AI because we've all been able to format ebooks like that with Vellum. You could have done all kinds of different things. But I think quality is what's really going to matter, and that's what has survived, helped me survive for over a decade with Amazon, is putting out a quality product and having a quality audience. It's two pronged.
Yeah, I think that quality audience piece is super important. Is where you said you've been open with your audience, and
Mm-hmm.
I would assume potentially there may have been some people that were like, oh, I'm not going to read your books anymore.
Nope, not a one. In fact,
Not,
they wanted to know number one, who's upset and preventing them from having more books by me, which I would never tell them. I would never weaponize my readers against another author. That's unprofessional and wrong. But number two, they were like, does this mean we get the books faster? And I said, yes. And that's all they cared about because
mm,
all a reader really cares about, if you are a brand that they know and trust. And again, they've already had 3 books that are AI collaborated with me. So they've already read those last 3 books and they're like, oh, yeah, you did put out 3 books in 6 months. I was wondering how you did that. I did it with the AI. So they were like, they just want books. That's all they want. They just want stories.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's really important to know. And I like if you are communicating and open with your audience, and they feel like they have a say, then
Mm-hmm.
there's that brand ownership. So, like, if there was a rebellion, then you would deal with it, right? Like,
Yes. I might have to get new readers, but I don't think so. More people have followed, have done that as well. And they have run into the same thing. Nobody cares. It's a nothing burger. But I would say that it matters if you've already done it or not. So if you're talking to readers in the hypothetical sense of like, I'm thinking about bringing AI on, now you've given them something to fear because there's an unknown element. But if you actually produce something and say, hey, here's something that I created, like, do you like this? And they're like, yes.
mhm,
So, well, it turns out I had a new tool that I was able to work with, and it's the AI, and that's what produced this. And they're
mm,
like, oh, well, this was great. Kevin McLaughlin just did an experiment on his Facebook where he wrote a chapter his own, and then he wrote a chapter where the AI helped him. He didn't tell anybody which was which, and he was just polling professional authors. 70% of the audience liked the Kevin McLaughlin with the AI assist because it's like an
mm,
upgrade as a writer. It's not a downgrade as long as you're validating and you're being that creative director versus just Kevin on his own.
yeah, yeah. Well, and where a kind of analogy to this, something I've seen is authors that have been pretty productive and have a good series, and they say, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in a co-writer, and I'm going to hand
Mm-hmm.
this series off to them.
Yep.
And they think it's going to make their life easier. Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does.
A
Sometimes
lot
it
of
doesn't.
times, what ends up happening is the voice changes, and the readers are like, hey,
What
It's
happened?
not the same,
Yeah.
right? So
Um,
like you have to really think about how you're going about productivity.
yes, I think so. And I think another thing that AI can help with, and we talked about this a little bit, is you can now keep your audience more engaged in between releases. So let's say you don't want to use AI to become a book a month person. Like you just don't want to set that expectation. You don't want your readers to think that they're going to get a book a month from you, but you're concerned that you're going to be competing with people who are going to come into your space. Maybe you're a top author in your niche. Like I write Jane Austen fan fiction. Other people write other niches, sub niches and things like that. And maybe you're somebody who like you feel a little bit like you innovate a lot in your genre. Like you'll come up with something and then you notice like it's so like what is it? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah,
Well, they
yeah.
flatter you a lot and they imitate you. And
Yeah.
it's like you're frustrated. You're concerned you're going to lose market share. You're concerned that you're going to lose position. Now, you'll always be first, but you can't fight against the 4, 5, 6 authors now who can just follow right behind you like 2 weeks
Mm.
later because there's AI. But you could write bonus scenes. You can write little short stories. You can do lots of different things to keep your audience engaged by using AI to help your productivity, even if you don't necessarily want to have it help you with the actual book itself. If that's something that is a sacred thing for you, or it's just an area you don't think you need help with AI art, you can do custom illustrations. With AI writing, you can do little vignettes. You can take a scene that you've already written in a book, and you can use AI to rewrite it from the villain's point of view, or rewrite it from the point of view of a dead fish that was on the boat watching the whole thing happen. Like you can be comical with it. You can add a new angle to it, and I think that that is just okay. I get goosebumps over those kinds of tools because I love story, and so you can
Mhm.
really give your readers an opportunity to go back and step into those older stories. Give them another reason to read it again. Give them another reason to gift it to somebody, and
Mm.
that's how you stay at the forefront of it, even if you have a lot of flattery, aka imitation, in your genre as
Mm.
you're writing books.
One thing you just made me think about is what if, like in your case, where you're going to explore those things. One of the things you ask your fans is, "What kind of prompts would you like me to run?"
I had to put a sassy duck in my last book because I let my readers pick Easter eggs. I got that idea actually from Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift has like this super following on social media, and one of the big things that she does is Easter eggs. Like, and people are rabid to try to find these. I made it a little more simple. I have my reader group; they get to give me Easter eggs that I have to put in. So, like the whiskey wedding, I had to put a MacGuffin in there. I had to put somebody with a MacGuffin with a head wound in the back of their head. That was tricky. One time, I had to put the entire cast of Friends in a book, like the names of them. So, with my most recent book that I did, the what was it? The Test of Fire. They got to pick the Easter eggs, and I actually put the list of the Easter eggs at the back of the book so that readers who weren't in the reader group now have a reason to join my reader group. And then I said,
Mm.
it's almost like a Where's Waldo? Hey, I know
Yeah.
you just finished reading this book. Go back and see if you can find all the Easter eggs that the reader said that I had to put in. And oh, by the way, here's where you join the group to get to select those. So you can
Oh,
play
that's a
games.
brilliant way to build audience. It really
Yep,
is.
play games because everybody
Right.
needs joy. Everybody needs joy in their life, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and the folks that are into that and love that, they're just that's going to give them a deeper connection with your brand,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Like, all
So
right,
it's a lot of fun.
cool. Well, why don't I think it's I knew you were confident this was as being somebody that's been battle hardened in this industry that this is just another one of these things.
It's just another day. It's
Just
just another day
yeah,
in the trenches, Joe.
yeah, yes, just another ranty Facebook post by somebody. Um,
Yeah,
but you also have another way you can help people that are looking at this. Can you share a little bit about what you're doing with your courses, and then we'll kind of close this one up?
absolutely. I have 2 courses that are intro classes, but the reason I say it's intro is because it's people at all levels are welcome to come in. So it's intro to AI writing and it's intro to AI art, and we talk about these things like exactly how these technologies work. So everybody leaves with a good understanding that's not copying and pasting or it's not pulling from somewhere else. We talk about how these tools learned. We talk about how we can use them, how we can use them for marketing, how we can use them for our pinch points in our writing. And a lot of my students are really enjoying it. I have a high residual rate. And honestly, I haven't had to buy any marketing or anything. Everything's by word of mouth. So, and it has a complete refund policy. If you take the class and you're like, this is not for me, I just refund you. Like, this is not
Cool.
my main
Cool.
bread and butter.
Zero risk.
Zero risk, but all the fun.
Yeah.
So, and you get all the classes, you get all the recordings. I teach live, so you can come with questions, or you can just watch the recordings. You can send me a message and say, hey, I need you to do this in the next class, and I'll do it.
Elizabeth, it's been awesome having you on again.
Thank you.
All right. See
It's
you
been
later.
fun.
Bye.
All right, bye.